Yes, people, how you doing? Hope you're all well. Big up yourselves, and big up my guest, Albert JTV in the house. What you saying, bruv? It's been good to see you over the last weekend, football, and now on a podcast together too, man. How's
I know,
things?
I know, not bad, man. Potsy, when you put the call out, man, I said, yeah, man, I've got to reunite with Dan Potts, man. Cool. So all good, man. Quiet,
Mate, it's
a
great.
quiet Thursday night.
Yeah, it's great, man. It's weird. I can't wait till we're back in the Champions League, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I hate playing these games because then you play your strong side, and that's not something that we didn't do tonight. But I
Mm.
can't lie to you, Albert. It was actually a lot stronger than I thought it was going to be in terms of the team selection. Um, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. Not the game. And before I ask you on that team news, what does that result at 2-2 do now? Does it give us confidence going into the second leg? Does it give us worries, or is it as it says, honours even, and it's all to play for?
Cool, Potsy. Let me unpack that, man. I think it's probably a combination of all the things you just mentioned. Yeah, because I don't think, in terms of the changes, I don't think it would have been that many if everybody was fit. Um, I don't think you would have seen Zinchenko play tonight. Uh, I think you probably would have seen the likes of Trossard play tonight, possibly even Tomiyasu. But we've got the team we had. 6 changes were made. It's good to see Kivior start, mate. Good to see Kivior start because we only seen YouTube clips of him there. I think he played an under 23 game the other day. But yeah, result wise, if you'd have offered me that before the start of the game, Dan, I would have taken it. I know how, irrespective of how tonight's panned out, I would have taken a draw. There were moments in the game where possession wise, we were poor, Dan. Passing wise, um, we were okay in periods, but yeah, we were poor passing wise tonight. I don't know what the guys think in the chat or yourself, but yeah, it wasn't a typical kind of European game I'd expect to see in a knockout stage. Put it that way, Dan. It was the complete opposite of KG and teams trying to test each other out. And yeah, let me sort of stop there before I sort of lose my train of thought.
Nah, you're bang on, man. I mean, I put the team up for a reason because I felt like it was right to go through what we went with. Turner in goal, a back four which was White, Saliba, Kivior, and Zinchenko, Jorginho, Chaka, and Vieira, and then a front three of Nelson, Martinelli, and Saka. The first things for me, mate, are I'm surprised that he's gone with some of those names, and it's actually the stronger names that I'm surprised by. I didn't think Saka would start this one. I thought he'd be getting some rest. Certainly didn't expect to see him on still 90 minutes, but we'll go into that. I didn't expect Saliba to be there. I really thought that Rob Holding was going to play. I didn't see Ben White playing at right back. I thought it would be Tomiyasu. And if the rumours were right, which they turned out to be about Kieran Tierney being sick, then
Mm,
I thought maybe Tomiyasu would have definitely played at left back. But to see our strongest fullbacks was a big surprise to me. But other than that, I kind of expected Martinelli up front because with the injuries to Trossard, Eddie, and Jesus, I believe Reece Nelson was going to start for the pure fact that that was just scenes at the Emirates at the weekend. And let's be real, he deserves to. Granit Xhaka's the only centre midfielder that we've got because everybody
mm.
else has either been loaned out or they're injured. Jorginho had to come in for Thomas Partey, and I was really expecting to see Kivior start today. I really was. There was a lot of rumours that he was going to get his debut, and I was really interested to see what that kind of looked like. And Mikel Arteta has always played the second choice goalkeeper in the Europa League. So, who for you in that first half worried you, Albert? Because I don't want to be negative, but that first half was a little bit concerning. And there was a couple of players for me that you could see some that were new, some that hadn't played football, and some that just looked a bit rusty for me, bro. So, what was your thoughts in the first half, mate?
Yeah, I think with the changes that we made, I think that was a reflection on some of the performance you saw tonight for me quite clearly, in terms of players not playing with each other and sort of no partnerships and consistency. So surprisingly, Dan, for me, the two players that gave away the ball the most are probably the two most technical players in the side. It was Zinchenko and Vieira. That first 20 minutes, especially, I was like, wow. Simple A to B passing, not difficult passing to find teammates, and just the thing with European football, mate, is you've got to keep the ball well, particularly away from home, and we didn't do that, to be honest with you. In terms of Kivior starting, I was actually pleased, Dan. I'll be honest, because like I said, we want to see what he can offer. And I think this was a moment for the fringe players. So obviously Vieira started against Bournemouth, but he came in today. I don't know. I'm kind of mixed with him, Dan, to be honest with you. I think with Vieira, when you get him in the right areas of the pitch in the final third, he's very, very dangerous and very, very accomplished. But we don't do that enough, and he doesn't play very often. So you kind of think of those two things, and you're like, maybe that's why you probably got the performance you got from him today. Zinchenko, Dan, me personally, I don't know what happened to him in the first half.
Yeah.
Time after time after time, he gave the ball away. In regards to the goalkeeper, there were a lot of Arsenal fans, to be fair, that did want Ramsdale starting. But
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
But Turner's played the whole competition. I think he's kept quite a few clean sheets as well, to be fair. But I was just going to say, Dan, the goal was his fault, because as a goalkeeper, if the ball's going to come into that area of the pitch, that is yours. You got to clean up everything. The strikers, your defenders. You can't let a guy head the ball in from that position. That's unforgivable.
Yeah, it was. I share your concerns. Matt Turner, for me, I saw him come in and I saw him in pre-season and I thought, oh dear, what the hell have we bought here? Then I got a little bit more faith in him towards the last stages of the group stage in the Europa League, and I felt he had a good World Cup. So I kind of got a little bit more confident in his performances. But in that first half today, he was shocking. He was really bad. You can't stand still at a corner like that. That's your area, man. You've got to command it. You can't start throwing the ball out to Jorginho. I think it was on the 30th minute, 30 to 31st minute.
Yeah.
Rolls the ball out to Jorginho and he's got three men around him. Like, where's the rush? What are we doing? And then, of course, towards the end of that first half, he passes the ball to Saliba when he's got two men on him. And then it's just putting us under unnecessary pressure. I thought he had a really shocking first half, and we'll come on to the second half in a minute because we were so much better, so therefore they weren't peppering our goal as much. But in that first half, I really thought he had a nightmare. I really did. Kivior, I have to say, I don't think he did much to help Turner for that corner.
No.
Because when your goalkeeper don't come, you've got to get that communication right. And when you realise he ain't coming, you've got to do better. It felt to me as if he just kind of got scared, if I'm honest. Martin Keown said he's got to do better. If I'm working with a goalkeeper, I've got that I don't really know well yet.
Yeah, good point.
I'm not trusting him. So I'm going to go and get that header and clear it. And I thought that was a really good point. And I think, as they're saying in the chat, he bottled it a bit. So those two worried me. I share what you're saying about Zinchenko. I love him. Absolutely love him. But he was poor. His passing was really bad. It was really rash. He was really scatty. There was no calm composure that I usually get from Zinchenko. It's a shame that Tierney, Tierney was unfit or unwell, I think it was, sickness, because that was a game I was expecting to see him play. And I felt like Zinchenko was a bit all over the place, if I'm honest with you. Jorginho and Xhaka, I thought, played okay. Martinelli was trying his hardest, but a little bit scatty at times. Nelson and Saka had a few nice moments. But then I look at Vieira, Albert, and I think I really like some of his play. I really like some of his touches. But he is so lightweight and weak, falling over all the time. The minute he gets a touch, Bruno Fernandes-esque today, on the floor all the time. Misplaced passes in the first half, as you'd mentioned. A frustrating performance for me from Vieira, I would say. I wouldn't say he was shockingly bad. I'd just say a bit frustrated and annoying. So they were the ones that stuck out for me, man. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, Vieira, it's a weird one. It's not just tonight. It's I know he's not had a lot of football. I understand that, but I come back to the point I said in terms of I know people talk about our squad depth, right? But Dan, I get it if we're at a stage of the season where it's the start of the season or it's September, October, but we're coming in a few weeks time, we'll be in April. Like, these guys need to come to the forefront very, very quickly. I get it, it's not easy, you don't get game time all the time, but Vieira, I'm not gonna go in on him because I think, listen, you have your first season in English football, you adapt, you pick up the pace, you get a bit stronger, but I have to judge him in the games that I see him play. And for me, there's too many games he's hit and miss when he does play. And yeah, I expected to see a lot more from him today. To be honest with you, knowing that Erdegaard obviously didn't travel because he's unwell as well. So you got a chance to sort of make an imprint on the team in an area of the pitch where we've been pretty good this season. As mentioned in the chat, we ain't got no strikers, but we're still worrying about our defense. But Dan, you saw the difference when we showed it up with Tommy coming on and Gabriel and Partey. We looked better that last 25 minutes because we started the second half okay-ish from the first 5 minutes, but after that no rhythm, sloppy again. Just defensively was all over the place, and
Mm.
if they had better finishers, they could have scored a third goal, mate.
Mm. Yeah, the first half was shocking for me, and I don't think there was anyone who really shone. But at the same time, we were lucky that we were able to keep them out from going a couple ahead. We moved on to the second half, though, Albert, and it was a hell of a lot better. It was controlled, it was comfortable. Apart from maybe a couple of scenarios, I can't think of many times that Turner was massively tested,
No.
and it felt to me as if it was a lot more controlled. I liked how Mikel Arteta managed that second half. I think the subs really did come on and stabilise us. And the only real substitute that confused me was Nelson coming off, because I would have kept him on and brought off Saka just because
Mm,
he's fresh for the weekend. Because I spoke to my dad after the game and he just said Ben White and Saka were just getting shouted at by Arteta because they couldn't keep up with the pace
mm.
towards the end of the game. And that worries me going into the weekend game where we need both of them and we need to win. So I was a bit surprised by that. Other than that, I weren't surprised by the subs that came on. I all thought that they were upgrades on what we had. Gabriel, Smith Rowe, Thomas Partey all coming on, which is for me an upgrade on what we had on the pitch. And I just felt that we were controlled and we were able to see the game out. I never really thought that we were going to lose the game. I thought we had a chance of winning it, but it is good to see that when we don't win the games, we're not throwing them away, going gung ho, and then losing 3-2, because that would have caused a lot of problems, not just for the second leg, mate, but for the Sunday game against Fulham, where you just lose that little bit of momentum. I feel like we can go into that game on Sunday now, knowing that we've got a big game on Thursday, but we are favourites. We've got the advantage at home. And that's why I don't think 2-2 is disastrous, although there were some disastrous individual performances in parts. But second half was much better, Albert.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, we started the initial sort of 5 or so minutes, start second half. We were better. We control possession better. Not too sloppy. Apart from Zinchenko, he's still getting the ball away in the second half. I was thinking, this guy, man, he's having a nightmare. Man. I think he's woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Martinelli had a good chance, really good chance. The one bit of good play, positive play that Zinchenko did do, that beautiful through pass to Martinelli, but he's the goalkeeper's. I think we got a corner from it, but the goal. I mean, we conceded from a defensive point of view. They did some good passages to play Sport Lisbon, but to be fair, Turner's a strong hand, but they just reacted quicker than Ben White and Saliba, the guy Paulino, and before we know it, we're 2-1 down. And even when they got that goal for a good 5-10 minute period, for me, we looked rattled. Like I said, defensively was all over the place. We were still kind of giving the ball away, even though we had a bit of ascendancy to start the second half. And the changes needed to happen, man. And he did, because we were just getting carved open quite easily. And like I said before, if they had somebody that put the ball in the back of net, we'd have been in trouble. Because listen, Sporting Lisbon were not going to be easy anyway. There was a tricky opponent. They came into that game with a bit of confidence, a bit of form. I think they're unbeaten in their last 4 games. So, but we didn't help our own cause, Dan, by just some of our ball retention was just shockingly poor today. Let's be honest, it wasn't great. Hence the reason why we put ourselves under a lot of pressure. But making the subs made a huge difference to wresting that game back in our favor.
I think it's interesting, Albert, because the way we got the equaliser was actually quite a lucky goal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I feel like we deserve it, if that makes any sense, because we did have chances where we could have killed them off and could have won the game. Do you have any qualms with the team selection looking back? I know it's easy on hindsight to say
Mm.
Ramsdale should be playing, we should be putting our first 11 out. I wanted to see that, but I just didn't see the point of moaning about it because I knew that we weren't going to play our first 11. But I feel like if they were all going to play anyway and keep coming on and playing a part, then we may as well just have played the strongest 11
Yeah.
and then have taken 5 of them off for Sunday and then win the game or see the game out, whether it be. Now, it could have still been 2-2. Who knows what the result would have been. But I do feel that when you change your goalkeeper at, and your defender, it shakes it all up completely. Even Turner would have been, that back line would have been. This is different to Ramsdale. I ain't played with him before. Kivior, wow, I ain't really played next to him before. So he's taken a bit of a risk there, Arteta. And in hindsight, I wonder if he would have thought, should I have done that? Be interesting to see next week now who the team 11, who the 11 is. After we play Fulham, there could be injuries. There could be players that are knackered. I get that, but if you was to ask me now, I'd play a strong side, make sure we get through the tie, and I wonder if he will do that. Um, but do you feel like there was any point of that game that you felt Arteta was a bit arrogant with the team selection, or do you think that it was right for him to rotate in this game?
Yeah, this conversation has been a topic of conversation for even before the game, to be honest, like a week, 10 days before. Should we, who should play, who shouldn't play? Should we go with a mixture of, experience and fringe players? I mean, it's like I said. We had 6 changes, right? I think if everyone had been fit, I don't think Ben White would have played, and I don't think Zinchenko would have started. So that would have been 4. That probably would have been 4 changes. I just think obviously the situation is in terms of the illness and the players that were missing. That's why you saw as many changes as you did. I generally don't think Mikel Arteta would have made that many changes, but particularly for a knockout stage tournament of an European competition. You just don't. It's better, Dan, especially away from home.
Yeah.
Right? You don't make that many changes, man. But so I wouldn't personally go in too hard on Arteta with that, because what he's wanting the players to do, that the fringe players coming in, is to give him a headache. Team selection choice. The players that are on the periphery. So i.e. Nelson comes in after the buzz from the weekend. Um, Vieira starts. He's got experience behind him in terms of Jorginho and Xhaka. So, you've got that. You've got experience in there. We're not. There's not complete novices in that side. Let's be honest. We can go through the sort of the spine of the team, or if you just look at the team as a whole. So, I agree with you about Saka though. I would have liked to see him come off. I wouldn't like to see him play, to be honest, but that's just me. But yeah, he's that good, Dan, in it. He just gives you that. He gives you that extra kind of je ne sais quoi, man. That he's got that moment in him that can just unlock defenses. But I think, like, by and large, as Arsenal fans, I wouldn't go too harsh on Arteta. I think he's had to make more changes than he would have wanted to due to injury and illnesses.
Yeah, there has been illnesses. The guard, Kieran Tierney. Apparently, Fabio Vieira wasn't 100%
I
either.
did hear that. Yeah.
Yeah, rumors of like throat infections and stuff like this. So crazy, isn't it? There's everyone I know is ill as well. COVID and sickness and flu
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
everything, man. It's mad. So obviously it's the same for them, guys. Listen, we go into this second leg now, and I think we should be confident for the pure fact that we're at the Emirates and we have home advantage. They're not ahead of us. It's 2-2. It's on us even. But I do feel we're the strongest side. If Mikel Arteta does go with a strong side, I think we'll be fine. But if he does start to bring in Turners, Holdings, Vieiras, Kyrgios again, then of course we're going to have that risk there, aren't we? That we could concede goals. Now, I'd play a strong side and I'd take them off. I said that today. I stand by it in the second leg. Against Fulham, we have got a big game and we're going to have to go full strength. There's no understanding of when Gabriel Jesus is back.
Yeah.
At the moment, we don't have a striker, which leads me on to my next point today. Madly enough, we scored 2 goals without a forward.
It's mad. Mad.
It's mad. And I felt personally, defensively, we were more of a concern, which I didn't expect today, Albert. I
No.
really didn't. I know we've been leaking goals. I understand that. But this was a new centre half pairing that I thought was going to be hungry, particularly Kivior. And I just felt like if they did score, then it would only be the one. I thought we would draw today 1-1 or nick it 2-1. And it turns out I weren't too far off, and it was, of course, 2-2. But defensively, mate, and up top, I feel that we can only get better because we've got Trossard out, Eddie out, Jesus out. At the back, for me, at home, I feel like we're conceding goals because the crowds with it, they've got that little bit more excitement and they're going that little bit more gung-ho. And there's times this season where we've conceded 2s and 3s at the Emirates, which just isn't really heard of unless you're playing a top quality side. but conceding twos at Bournemouth, now we've conceded another two at Sporting Lisbon. I feel like we need to sort that defence out, and I wanted to get your thoughts on how you feel we could do that, or if it is just at the moment that's our style of play. We're leaking, but we're scoring at least.
I'll say it'd be interesting to see who starts the second leg. that's for sure. But yeah, we got an important game on Sunday. You're right, Dan. Like the defense was kind of the last thing I was talking about tonight, but it's come up because obviously we conceded a couple of goals. It's a strange one because our away form actually is pretty good away from home. I think most of our clean sheets this season have come away from home because we certainly ain't got many Emirates this season. We've only had 3 in the Premier League. So, and you know what? I've kind of thought about it, and I said to myself, you know what? I only put it down to one word, mate, in terms of the goals we're conceding. It's concentration. We can't, well, with the exception of tonight, we obviously when we go away from home in terms of our league form, the concentration is obviously better because we've got a number of clean sheets away from home. However, our home form is a separate issue. Yes, we're winning games of football and our home record is actually pretty decent, but some of the goals we're conceding is the issue, man. The type of goals we're conceding is poor. I mean, look at the goal today. Unchallenged in the 6-yard box from a corner. Not good enough, man, to be honest with you, whether that's Kivior starting or not. That you don't, as a defensive unit, you can see the goal from corner and the guys are marked. There's an issue there. Whether it's man-to-man marking or zonal marking, doesn't matter. The guy should not be left free like that. But yeah, Dan, to me, it's just concentration. Because we have got a better defense, let's be honest, in the last couple of years. They've had a year to bed in. Obviously, Saliba's first season, we have to bear that in mind. He's done exceptional, first season English football, and he's been kind of flawless for me. Yeah, a dip after the World Cup, but that happens. But it would be a concern for Arteta, definitely, because what do you do? Because our back, you know what I mean? We've got Ramsdale in goal. Ben White's our normal right back. You've got Gabriel Saliba and you've got Zinchenko, but we're still conceding goals. They're going to have to take a bit more onus and a bit more responsibility and just have better concentration levels, man, because we can't afford, as good as we've been this season, we can't afford to be giving teams head starts or making it easy for teams to slice us open. Like, Dan, I get it if we're conceding goals where we're getting passed off the pitch. But if you look at a lot of our goals we've conceded this season, particularly at the Emirates, of course, as an Arsenal fan, you'd be concerned.
Yeah, we are quite sloppy at times. It's mad, isn't it? How great we are. We are a young side, though, and I believe that we've got potential naivety in some of our play. And that's why I think we're kind of error prone at times, so to speak. I wanted to get your opinions up top, though, because at times today, Martinelli looked great and lively. At times he was frustrating, as sometimes he can be. I love him. Love the kid. He's one of my favourite players. But he can get a bit too rash, can't he, sometimes? And I felt today there was a couple of headers that I felt he could have done better with. There were some passes I thought he could have done better with. I do love him. Everything about him is just so great to watch. But at one stage today, Fabio Vieira was up front. I mean, I don't want to be seeing that. I don't understand there's a false 9 that we play. But when you've got a player who's that weak and has got so much, lacks so much physical presence, I don't really want to see us trying to get the ball to him in central areas up top. So, no Eddie, no Jesus, no Trossard. Do you think it showed today, or do you think that we, with the 2 goals that we got, we didn't miss a striker? Because I felt like something was missing, and we didn't have anything from the bench.
Yeah, it's a concern for me, mate. Because obviously it's great that Jesus is back in training, but he's not match fit. Let's be honest. So that if you think Emile Smith-Rowe's looking that sharp, to be honest. Eddie's obviously got the ankle issue, which I'm not sure how serious that is. I actually do think if you're going to play that sort of system with the false 9 sort of thing, it's obviously worked pretty well with Trossard and Martinelli. You've got a good balance there with those two. You're not going to, Trossard wasn't there tonight. So you're asking players to play that position in an away leg in the European knockouts tie. It showed, man. We got a goal from a set piece, and we got a goal which was an own goal. If I look at the game, Martinelli had 2 good chances. When he ran the length of the pitch, I think, oh man, he just, I'm the same with you, Dan, with Martinelli. I love him, but I think for me at times when I watch him play, it'd be interesting what people think. He's very tunnel vision, very head down. He just needs that split second where just to get your head up and look at the bigger picture. That's something he can iron out, and hopefully he does it sooner rather than later. But yeah, that's probably the one flaw for me with him. But he's just an exceptional player. But yeah, listen, we've done well this season, Dan, with goals this season. I think I mentioned it on the fan cam recently. I think this time last season in the Premier League, we scored 61 goals in the whole campaign. I think we're on 59 in the Premier League with about 11, 12 games to go, which is quite impressive. But unfortunately, timing in football is everything. And at the moment, we need our strikers back pretty sharpish, because it can go from very quickly being a good goal scoring team and playing good football to struggling to put the ball in the back of the net and not creating chances, which has been the case with Arsenal in a few games this season recently.
Yeah, man, you make great points. We need Jesus back, man. Really do. And I hope it's soon. Trossard will be a miss, if I'm honest. I don't know how long that is, but Arteta seems to believe it's not long term. Likewise, Eddie Nketiah, I believe, is more of a strain than something that will be long term. So we do need that striker back, man. Let's big up Premsy. Premsy, what you saying, bruv?
Not too bad. Big up to yourselves, man. Sorry for being late. I was just obviously doing my match reaction on my channel, man. So
it's calm, man. Listen, me and Albert were just talking about the game and want to get your thoughts, man. I thought it was one first half which looked a shambles at times at the back, and a second half which looked a lot more controlled. But what did you make of it, bruv?
Do you know what? Yeah, I'll be totally honest. I think 2-2 is not the end of the world. I think we will do them at the Emirates. You know me, I'll jump on people's neck when I need to. But I think with Kivior, I think it's his first game. He's got to get to understand the players and get the chemistry of the team. So I don't want to jump down his neck too much, but I'm not with man turning his back and closing his eyes and not jumping for that goal. I think Turner should have done a lot better for it. I think it was like 7-8 minutes after we scored that D scored. And we're conceding too many goals from set pieces now. I think that's 4 goals we've conceded from set piece since we've come back from the World Cup, which is double the amount before the World Cup. So that's something we've got to look at, 110%. It was just one of them games where it could have went either way. There was quite a few opportunities for Sporting to get a couple goals. I think Turner did well in certain aspects to make a few saves. But at the same time, with Arsenal, we didn't really take our chances too tough as well. I think Martinelli had 2 good opportunities to score. One when he came in, and for me, he should have lobbed the keeper. But obviously, the keeper came out, rushed out, made a good save. And the second one, that brilliant run that he made, his last touch was a little bit too heavy when he rounded the keeper, and their player managed to get back and clear the ball, celebrated it like a goal. But you can see, I think there's signs there that we're going to have to maybe play a stronger team in the second half of the tie, and just get over the line, because I don't know where Usman stand on it, but for me, for a big club like Arsenal, we have to be going for this Europa League. We've been in this competition now for so many years and we haven't won it, and for me that's embarrassing. I want to see us win this competition. I understand and appreciate that we prioritise the Premier League. It's been 19 years since we haven't lifted the trophy, and we're in a very promising position with 12 games to go. But I think the recruitment in January now, bringing in the likes of Jorginho and also Trossard, Gabriel Jesus coming back, Emil Smith-Rowe back in the team, and also with signing Kivior as well. This is his first game. We can't really judge too much off this first game. But now we've got a bit of squad depth where we should be able to challenge on a Thursday and a Sunday. And that's what I want to see. So that's how I see the game. I just, you know me, bro, I hate drawing and I hate losing. It's one of them situations I always want to win, because I just want Arsenal to just win 24/7, because it is what it is. But like I said, it's not the end of the world, bro. 2-2. Sporting's a difficult place. We've seen Tottenham go there and lose this season. So they can turn people over at home. I think they haven't won for a few years in England as well. And that's going to play some part into their mentality. They're losing 2 key players now for the return leg. The captain in Cortez, and I can't remember my man's name. Is it
Marito? Is it Marito?
Yeah, the guy who scored an own goal. But maybe that's a blessing for them that he's not playing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But yeah, man, I think all in all, bro, it's one of them, innit? We rejigged the team around a little bit. I was surprised Kieran Tierney wasn't in the mix. Maybe he's got to definitely have an injury
Sick.
because
He's
is he
sick,
sick?
apparently.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, that gives me a little bit of peace. You get me? Because all these Newcastle rumors flying around, I'm not with it at all. For me, we have to keep Kieran Tierney in this
I
team and
agree.
in this squad because we've seen in the Champions League, you're going to need a better squad all round. You get me? If we want to compete in the Champions League and the Premier League going forward next season, we're going to need a good 22, not just a good 11, a good 22 that we can rely on week in, week out. Because the Europa League is a different kettle of fish to the Champions League. We've seen what happened with Bayern Munich. You can end up getting spanked 10-2. You know what I mean? So we need to keep Kieran Tierney in the squad. Gabriel Jesus as well. He was obviously training, and to be fair, I thought he might be involved in this game in some aspects, but I'm kind of glad he's not, because if you've played football and you know about football, having a knee injury is probably the worst injury that you can sustain. You know, and the way Gabriel Jesus plays, twists and turns, and a lot of weight goes on his knees, I want him back ready before he jumps into this team, because for the last, say, 10 games of the league, it's going to be very, very sticky, bro. We've seen us now having to score last minute goals and just manage getting over the line and getting the victory. But we can't afford that to be happening now. I want to see 3-4 nils now in these last 10 games. It's going to be difficult, but that's what I want to see, bro.
It will be indeed, man. Just before I come to Albert, Prems, I wanted to ask you about the team selection. And I asked Albert this as well. I personally would have gone strong today. Get the game won, take the 5 games players off, and then ready and fit for Fulham, and do the same at Sporting in the second leg if you feel that you need to. Now, I'm not saying that if we played the strongest 11, we would have won 3-0 tonight. But I honestly believe with Ramsdale and Gabriel at the back, if we don't concede that first goal, and some might say we don't concede the second. So I wanted to get your thoughts on the team selection tonight and whether you thought we should have gone stronger, bro.
Do you know what? Is one of them, because I've always said we should be going strong in the Europa League, definitely. But at the same time, when I looked at the starting lineup, I thought this team is enough to beat Sporting. I think the only one I was humming and hawing about was Saka. I thought maybe Saka could have done with a little rest, and Emil Smith-Rowe could have got a bit more minutes in his legs. And obviously with Jakub Kivior, we haven't seen him play before. So this was probably a perfect opportunity to see him, let him get some game time and see what he can actually offer to the team. So I do get what you're saying. Start your strongest lineup, get a few goals up, start to make them 5 substitutions and try to see the game out. I get it, totally understand. But now it's pushed us into a corner, in my opinion. We have to go with the strongest lineup in the return leg and kind of play it out like you said, bro. Get them, make sure we get the points on the board and go through to the next round, because we do not want to be getting knocked out in the last 16 to Sporting, because best believe we're going to come up against a lot of tougher opposition in the latter stages of this competition than Sporting Lisbon. So yeah, I thought he did okay. I think in bringing the players on at 70 minutes or so, Arteta to himself knew that he kind of maybe made a little bit of mistake not starting the likes of Thomas Partey and starting the likes of Gabriel and so on. He brought them on to kind of see the game out, make sure we didn't concede and take a good result, because 2-2 is not too bad, taking it back to the Emirates. So yeah, I'm with you. I do hear what you're saying.
Fair play, man. Albert, let me ask you a question, bro. On like Sunday, let's forget about it. We know we're going to play a first 11, right? There's no point debating that one. But on Thursday, like, I know what I think, but I want to ask you what you would do. Would you go back to Ramsdale and goal, Gabriel, Saliba, Zinchenko, Ben White as a back 5?
I think he'll pick Turner again. I do think he
Yeah, I
will.
do.
He's stuck with him the whole Europa
Yeah, I
League
do.
campaign. Well, he's not going to change him. So defense-wise, I think you might see a bit more flexibility there. Listen, nothing on Kivior, as Premsy said, it's his first game, man. Like, the only bits Arsenal fans would have seen of him is YouTube clips, and we don't always want to go by them, man. Trust me. But listen, once he's had a bit more time to settle in Arsenal, listen, it'll be an asset. You're not going to bring a guy.
I'll tell you what, just quickly, he was quick though, wasn't he? Did you
Yeah.
see? I don't know if you saw that sprint he did towards to try and win the ball back from a throw. I thought, who was that? I knew it wasn't one of the original players because they ain't that quick. I looked at him, I thought, it's that Kivior. Apparently, he's been like breaking records for for lots and lots of records already at London Colney. He's quicker than Walcott and Bellerin already, apparently. So there's some good things I've seen from him, but yeah, weren't the best of performances. Sorry, man, I cut you up. Go on.
No, that's all right. That's all right. No, no, Turner would definitely stay in goal. I'd be surprised if Ramsdale comes back in, but I wouldn't complain if he did. By the way, like I said, I think you know what, it's going to depend, Dan, how serious the injuries are to the players that were missing tonight. Because you might see a bit more movement with them, and actually that's probably more of a concern, because I'm not saying Martinelli can't do the job up top on his own, but he's not played there very often. But I think when you've got the likes of Jesus who's back potentially, or Leandro Trossard who's done well since he's come in, you do see a bit more fluidity and a bit more flexibility in Martinelli's play. So it'd be interesting. I think you'll see a stronger team again in the second leg. But as I mentioned to you before, Dan, like with the team changes for tonight, I don't think he would have made 6 changes if those players we're talking about that were missing were available. Definitely.
Yeah, man. A lot of the chat are saying that it was poor defending and it's no big deal, says Jay. Arteta will learn not to do that again. We cannot treat Sporting like they're nobodies. I think that's facts, because they are a team that, let's be fair, have got a young manager who's highly rated.
Yeah.
They've definitely got some players that can affect us. And I think now, Prems, off the back of a Fulham result, which I'm hoping is going to be 3 points, but I know ain't going to be easy. They're a good side at Craven Cottage. These are 2 massive games, mate, because I don't see Man City losing or dropping points to Palace. I just don't see it. Palace haven't won in 2023. And I know that they're a bogey team for them, but Man City are playing too well for me. So we have to beat Fulham on Sunday. Then I go into the Sporting game, knowing that we could go through that, and we're all happy days going into the Palace and Leeds games. But Prems, we could lose on Sunday and then get knocked out on the Thursday as well, and then our momentum's completely gone. So where do you stand? Where do you stand on this?
Don't you make me start banging my head off the wall already, but I don't even want to think about that. Do you know what I mean? But look, going to that.
You see what I mean? It's a huge week, man.
No, definitely. Going to that Palace game, though, you get me. Sometimes these kind of records, not winning and all that this year, they have to get put to bed. And I'm just hoping big Patrick Vieira can do us a favour. You know what I mean? All I know is tell him to put on 10 defenders, and just defend his if he gets a draw out of that game, that would be sick. But no, you're right, man. Like, as it's going well, it can all go tits up real quick. And I think Fulham, there, no pushovers. They've been playing really well this season. They've got a lot to fight for. They want to get a European spot, so they're going to have an incentive to try to obviously beat us. Again, I am very confident against Sporting. I know they're no pushovers, but I think at the Emirates, I think we will go strong. I don't think Arteta will kind of risk it. I think he's going to want to go through to the latter stages, and I think if we get knocked out of another cup early on in the competition, it's not going to look good for him. Then again, people are going to say, oh, he's prioritizing the Premier League, but for me, that's just a bit of an excuse. You get me? With the Turner in goal situation, I can't see why Ramsdale can't start. I understand that he's been, backing him to start in the cup games and stuff, but we can't be messing around. We have to respect Sporting Lisbon. We have to respect their set pieces and how they deliver the ball, because they whipped in a few decent balls into that box today from set pieces. And Ramsdale commands his box differently. I think even with the ball at his feet with Turner, there was a few times I've seen somebody in the comments as well drop that, they get nervous. And bro, there was a few times there where he's passed the ball out and he's had to quickly recoup it up and save again. So that's another one, but we can't take these 2 games lightly. I think the next couple of games in the Premier League as well, we're going to have to win. We have to win. We have to go into at least the last 9-8 games in good run of form, because that last 10-game period is where champions are made. You get me? You're going to come across teams that are fighting relegation, teams that are scrapping for the points and survival, and they're going to make it ugly. And we can see at sometimes in this stage of the season, it's hard to break teams down. We've come across it where people will put 11 bodies behind the ball, and if we don't have a plan B or we don't have that moment of brilliance, it's difficult to break teams down. Saka as well, I'm a bit worried that he could be a little bit burnt out, because today he just didn't look the same kind of Saka. Even when the Saka's got 2-3 man on him, he still managed to create something, or you see him involved in the game. And today he was non-existent towards like the last 10 minutes of the game, where he popped up with a few shots here and there. Seeing him moving gingerly as well. So I don't know if he's got a little bit of a knock or something. I'm just praying to God that he hasn't. But no, you're 100% right, man. We have to win our next 2 games now, and I don't want to see us drawing against Fulham, and I don't want to see us go in the latter parts of the Europa League having to go to extra time and penalties and so on, because that's not going to be good for us. Definitely not.
Yeah, man, it's interesting what you say about Saka, because Arteta was going nuts at Ben White and Saka towards the end of the game because they just couldn't keep up with play. And I thought he's going to take Nelson off. I would have taken Saka off and just given them that rest and allowed Nelson to stay on. I know Nelson's only just come back from injury as well, but I was surprised to see Saka last that long. I can't lie. Boys, we'll do some quick player ratings between the 3 of us. Some of these are going to be positive, some of them are going to be negatives as always. Prems, I'll let you start with Turner in goal, man. What would you give him out of 10 today?
Ooh.
Do you know what? I don't think he could get anything more than a 5. You know, I think he was a big part of that goal getting conceded. But then again, on the other hand, he did make a few saves as well, which kind of saved us in certain aspects. He wasn't too great with the ball at his feet. I don't think we could give him anything more than a 5.
I think that's fair. Albert, Ben White.
Ooh, Ben, I love Ben White, man. Oh, I love him. But tonight, I'm gonna give him a 6, Dan. I'm giving him a 6. He did look. There's a couple of runs he done in the second half, but he looked gone. You saw him when the ball went off the pitch, but listen, Ben White's been missing consistent this season, but yeah, tonight I'd say a 6. He didn't really link up with Saka.
Thought you was gonna give him a 4, like on his shirt, man. I'm telling you, man, it was a bit of a mad thing.
No, I love Ben White. I'll give him a 6.
Yeah, I like Ben White, to be fair. I'll go next. I'll go with Saliba. I thought he was one of the best players out there. Like when you're next to a young debutant and you're 21 yourself, first season, he looked so good, man. Head and shoulders, Rolls Royce, very casual on the ball, commanding, got up when no one else did for the goal. I'm going to be really kind. I don't do 7s, so I don't do 0.5, so I'm not going to give him a 7.5. I'm going to give him an 8, man. I thought he was by far one of the better ones.
Yeah, he was good.
Thought he was quality, man. So, and I just love him. There's so much about his play that I love. Like when it goes back to a 21-year-old defender, you think, oh, come on, keep your head. Don't muck it about with it. I'm just confident and calm when he gets the ball.
He's well ahead of his years, ain't he? He's well ahead of his years.
Unreal, mate. I've never seen a centre-half this good at his age. You have to go back a long time. You know, I'm going back to like Rio Ferdinand when he first burst on the scene. Like everyone was like, who is this guy, man?
He's everything you want from a centre-back as well, Dan. Like he's big, he's strong, he's got pace behind him. He reads the game well. He covers well. He knows when to go, when to sit back. Do you know what I mean? He's quality, man. He's quality. We need to sign him up real quick.
Yeah, I hope him and Saka do sign up, and I am confident that they both will. It's just a matter of them asking money, isn't it? But give them what they want, man. If they want 200k, just give them it. They've got to stay. Prems, come back to you on Kivior, mate. You said you weren't going to be asked on his debut. What are you giving him, man?
You know what? I'm going to give him a 5 as well. I know it might be a little bit of an easy number to throw around, but I don't think he deserves anything less or anything more. I think for him to come in first game, Europa League, first time he's playing alongside Saliba, you know, he didn't really make any clear and obvious mistakes. He kind of just been all right. I think apart from that little one instance in the goal where he could have potentially jumped, but then again, we don't know if Turner gave him a shout and he kind of pulled away from it because he had a shot from the goalkeeper. So I'll give him a 5.
Fair play, man. Albert, you've mentioned him a lot tonight in a negative light. Zinchenko, man. Poor first half. Really poor, man.
God. No, he was poor, man. Like the amount of times he gave away the ball in the most stupid areas. Like I just thought to myself, he's not like that for someone who's technically.
I love him, but he had a poor half, man.
Very poor. So no, I have to give him like a 4, man. And I think I'm being polite by giving him a 4.
He gives the ball away a lot, man. Even in the games that we have won and we play well, and he plays well.
Yeah,
he
but
gives the ball away a lot, man.
Awful.
Yeah.
Oh God, man.
You don't mind sometimes when they play. Do you remember where Alexis Sanchez used to give the ball away all the time? It was so quality. They didn't matter because he was just wicked. He used to make up for it.
If he gives that ball away, though, he's running straight back to go and win it back. You get me? And that's why people. But you know what? I got to give it Zinchenko for that little ball he played into Martinelli.
It's a beautiful pass. Beautiful pass.
Quality
Yeah, it
pass.
was a
That.
quality pass, to be fair. Maybe he should have done better. He tried to lift
Mm,
it, didn't he? But maybe he
mm.
should have just tried to
That's why I
drill it.
gave him a 4 for
Yeah,
that
man.
pass.
Listen, I don't blame you for that one, man. Who we got next? Jorginho. It's back to me. I didn't think he was too bad tonight. I like his passing. I really like his passing, actually.
Yeah, good passing in.
A lot of his play off of the ball is nowhere near good enough. But I think people compare Jorginho to Partey. We got to stop doing that. We can't do that. Like, he's nowhere near that level, right? And when we bought him, he was never going to be near that. You know, he's 30. He's not one of these lads who's going to be as good as Partey soon. For me, I'll be kind with him. I'll give him a 6. I didn't think it was outstanding, but I didn't think he did shockingly bad. So I'm gonna be giving him a fair score, which I think is 6. Parts again, he does give the ball away. He does, but he's on the ball quite a lot. So I see a lot of the good what he does with it, but there's always one or two that go astray. But I didn't think he was shocking tonight at all, to be fair. Let's go to Granit Xhaka, Prems. I thought he was all right, man.
Yeah, I thought he was all right, but nothing more than that. Do you know what I mean? The best part of that game that I seen from him is when he was sticking it on the Sporting players after that thing happened with Zinchenko. You get me? I love that fight from Granit Xhaka. You get me? It epitomizes him as a player, and I love it from him. But when you're talking about him progressing the ball or finding opportunities, he didn't do too much. But because that shot that he had led to the goal, I'm gonna have to give him a 7, because without that shot, we wouldn't have been coming away with the draw, man.
That's fair, man. No, that is fair. To be honest, it is one of those, isn't it, where you take it. It's a bit of luck, but you take it. And I actually thought he was one of our better players, Xhaka. To be fair, I think he kept the ball going, and I'm a big fan of what he's done. I really do. The next player is Vieira, Albert. What did you make of it? Frustrating in parts. Very weak.
Yeah, I think it's not just tonight. I think it's the games I've seen him play. You know, there's technical ability there, and I get it. You know what I mean? I think it's his first season, so I kind of give him a little bit of leeway. But from the games I've seen him play, I wasn't too overly impressed tonight. Yes, he does some good work off the ball, by the way, as well. But yeah, I'll give him a 5 tonight.
Yeah, man, he's a frustrating player at times. I tell you, nice touches. But
do you know what? I don't think
weak.
he did too bad. To be fair, I did expect more from him, considering he understands that league and knows what they're like. I did expect more from him, but I don't think he did too bad. He was trying to make things up, and I just think collectively as a team, it wasn't the greatest, man.
No, fair play, man. I think personally, the front three at times looked all right tonight, but they looked tired. Prems, come back to you, man. Saka.
Bro, for me, Saka, I'm not even going to lie, bro. He's going to have to be a 4 for me. And that's being kind to him.
Yeah.
That's being kind. I love Saka, man. What he does for the team is unbelievable. But at times, I could see him. But maybe it could have been a tactic deployed from Arteta as well. Because at times, I don't know if you noticed or not, but it looked like we was going to a back 5. And Ben White was squeezing in. And Saka was playing as a right back for quite a bit at a time. I swear, I don't know if he's clocked on to that.
Yeah.
But he just didn't offer anything really. Barring, like I said, the last 10 minutes he had a few shots on goal, but nothing too convincing. Didn't really create any opportunities. Looked like he was tired. I don't know whether the heat played a part with these boys. Obviously, we know that they're used to the rain and the cold, but he just looked very lethargic today. He's not the Saka that we're accustomed to seeing, man.
No, he does need a rest, I think, and it was an opportunity to do that tonight at some point in the game, and he didn't. I like the way he cuts in and shoots, and he has a go. I love that, but he weren't the same Saka tonight. Reece Nelson, on the other hand, I'm going to rate him. I'm going to give him a 6 because I think everything he tried, when players try to do something, don't keep it safe. He was actually trying to make something happen from the first few minutes. He took on the man. He was happy to take on man tonight, and I'm happy with that because for me, I think he's got a footballing career that's there for him at this club if he wants it. In terms of a squad player, not a first team player, and I think he's going to start showing why he's got a chance of being a part of that squad. So I'll give him that tonight. Martinelli, Albert.
I'm going to give him. I'll give him a 6 just for the run that he done, but he should have got a shot off at least. But yeah, you know what it is. I mentioned it before with you, Dan. I love Martinelli, but he's sometimes very tunnel vision. get your head up. Just that's something you can learn very, very quickly and very easily.
It's like when he went through, wasn't it? I was
this-
like, come on, score this. And
decision making particularly in the final third. But I'll give him a 6, man.
Fair play, man. What we giving Mikel Arteta tonight? I'll tell you why I was okay with him, because I thought he dealt with the subs well and he didn't lose the game. And I've seen so many games where we've gone gung-ho, 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 and we've lost it. And do you remember Wenger? He used to do it. I think it was against Monaco that time, where we had another full 90 minutes where they were 2-1 up and we went gung-ho to try and equalise, and they scored again. And we're basically out the tie because we went out on away goals in the end. So for me, I didn't see any of that tonight. I saw a controlled performance in the second half. And actually, I thought that we were actually seeing out the game towards the end. And I'll give Arteta some credit for that, man. What did you boys think to wrap up?
I think I'll give him a 6, to be fair. I think the starting lineup, barring maybe bringing Emil Smith-Rowe on for Saka, I think it was balanced. It was all right. Give a bit of experience, and I mixed it around a bit. Again, like you said, bringing the players on 70 minutes or so on. I think maybe if you brought them on a touch earlier, we could have potentially won the game, because the experience of Partey and the progressive play that he has, especially from that deeper role, is vital to the team. But look, we got to walk away with a draw in it, so you can't be too harsh on him. I think he did what he could do. Maybe again, not taking Saka off, that was a bit of a mistake. He should have took Saka off, because you know what, with Reece Nelson in that game, I don't know if you've noticed it or not, but there was loads of times where Reece Nelson was just on the last line of defence and he was trying to make that run and the ball just was not coming to him. You get me? And if you put the ball in a few times, I think he was moving it a little bit too slow at times. If you put the ball in through to Reece Nelson, he's full of confidence, man. Something would have happened. And I would have kept him on. I would have definitely kept him on. So I'll go for 6, 7. I can't argue with that.
No, I think that's fair, man. I think that's fair. Listen, to wrap up, Albert, I'll start with you. Predictions for the weekend, man. What are you going with?
Oh, what did I go for? I went for Arsenal to... It's going to be tough, man. Fulham's a good side. I think they're 7th in the league, actually. I think they're only 3 points off top 4, I think. I'm going to go for Arsenal to sneak it 2-1. I don't say that confidently, but I think we might sneak it 2-1.
Fair play, man. Premsy?
Do you know what? I don't think it's going to be easy, but at the same time, Paulinho, obviously, who's been one of their best midfielders, isn't going to be playing. It's going to be a big miss. I think, you know what? I think we'll get the victory 1-0. 1-0 to the Arsenal. I'll deal with that. Clean sheet. Man. Happy days.
I'll take that, man. Old school. I'll take any 3 points. I'm with Albert. I think we'll nick it 2-1. I don't think there's any Guna going into this one believing it's going to be a breeze in the park. They're good side at Craven Cottage. Manor Solomon has scored 5 in 5. Let's hope it ain't going to be 6 in 6. Paulinho being out is huge, because for me, I think he's been one of their best players, if not their best player. But Mitrovic is still there, man, and he's a tough player. You know, we actually found it hard. Do you remember at Emirates, last minute winner? So we need to be looking at that and thinking, how do we break this team down? I think if we get that early goal, we could then go on. I say that every game, because this is what this Arsenal team can do. Get an early goal, we can get a comfortable 3 points, but it ain't going to be comfortable, in my opinion. Listen, we're going to leave it there and wrap up, people. Big up Albert. Make sure you go follow Albert JTV. Make sure you follow him on socials. His social and Twitter handle is there. He's over at the Arsenal Lounge now with Sophie Nicolau from the Hybrid Squad. So make sure you go over there at 9 p.m. and listen to him and Sophie. And big up Premsy TV, people. Go and smash a like and subscribe. He's just done a match review, so go and do that. Get yourself over there. Follow him on socials at Premsy_AFC. Premsy, absolute pleasure, man. Thank you for coming on, bruv.
No, thank you for having me, man. It's been a pleasure. You know what it's like, Dan. It's good chopping it up with you all the time. It's been too long, really. We haven't spoke, but yeah, man. Good to have you. Good chat as well, Albert. Big up yourself, man.
Yes,
it's always a pleasure. Respect.
Top man. Albert, likewise, bruv. Always there when I need you, man. Always there when I need you. And you were there on Saturday, where's man hugs all around, man. I tell you that now, bro.
I never hugged a guy like that in my life, and I saw Dan on Saturday, man. That was crazy. Premsy, man. Listen, looking forward to seeing you eventually. Dan, look, love. When you put the call out, man, I'm here, man. Trust me. So, much appreciated, man.
No, I appreciate that. Big up the chat. Smash a like on the way out. Make sure you follow both these boys and hit subscribe if you're new. Get me up to 8K as ASAP, people. We'll be back next time. Until then, up the Arsenal. Take care.